Hi there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to see you watching this video. And here are a few things I already know about you because you decided to click on this video today. Firstly, you're not just another traveler. You're someone who's ready to invest in themselves. You're someone who's craving more than that everyday routine. And you're someone who's brave enough to feel a little uncomfortable because you know that that's where the real magic happens. And that's why I'm so glad that you're here, because solo travel did all of that and truly changed my life. I say this every single time, and in today's video, as you probably have already seen in the title, I want to share all of these destinations that I personally feel can change your life too once you travel solo to them, because these places are some of the easiest destinations you can travel solo to. I'm giving you the top 6 destinations internationally and 5 destinations within India that are going to be perfect for your first solo trip. Now remember, these have a special focus for women because I have the experience of traveling solo as a woman, and let's face it, it's not the same when you travel solo as a man. You have to think about safety, the kind of people you'd meet, the kind of places you're staying at. And now I'm sure that the first question that you're going to have is that how am I going to start traveling in the first place? Where am I going to get the money or the time? And all of those questions I've already answered in a video that I made right here, so make sure to go check it out. And once you watch that, I'm sure the second question that's going to come to your mind is, hey, I'm ready to travel solo, but I don't know what steps to take to travel solo the first time. And for that as well, there is another video that I've already made as a part of this series of sorts, so just make sure to watch that. That has all the mistakes that you need to avoid making on your first solo trip. And once you've done the homework on both of those videos, it's time to start selecting your first destination. And before I reveal the names of these places, to make your journey even smoother, I have dropped a free solo travel starter kit in the description below, which will help you with all essentials, from a packing checklist to a list of do's and don'ts, safety tips, basically everything I wish I knew before I went on my first solo trip. So make sure to check it out. And the next thing you need to do is hit the subscribe button, because if you love travel and personal growth, then you are at the right page. Why leave? So join the community, and now let's figure out where you are going to be going on your first solo trip. And now before I reveal the first country, I have selected all of these countries on the basis of 4 factors. Number 1, affordability, because traveling solo is actually a bit more expensive than traveling with a group because you are bearing all the expenses on your own. Number 2, ease of meeting people, because traveling solo is not about sitting in a hotel room alone and not talking to anybody and living in solitude. It's actually meeting cool people from around the world, exchanging cultures and learnings. So meeting new people is a huge factor up there on these countries. Then comes safety, because that I know is always a concern in any solo traveler's mind, including mine. And finally, solo travel friendliness. How friendly is this country for solo travelers? Does it have the right infrastructure, hostels, meeting points, communities, all of that? So the first place on my list is a country that I have personally been to twice, and I think I could go back again and again just because of how A, beautiful it is, B, affordable it is, and C, the people are so friendly here. I'm talking about Thailand. Probably the best international destination for a first-time solo traveler. Let me give you an example. So when I went to Thailand for the first time, I was traveling solo, and I remember taking a boat from Phuket to Koh Phi Phi, which is a beautiful island there. And it was so funny that 90% of the people on that boat were also traveling solo, and they were so open to meeting new people because everybody is basically in the same environment and mood as you, and so they are also super excited to meet other people and do activities with other people. So I think Thailand was one place where I had no issues making friends. In fact, some of the days I had to actually take alone time because I used to just be constantly surrounded by so many solo travelers. And another big perk about Thailand is that it's so easy to travel through the whole country. You can explore the beautiful beaches, diving, limestone caves, all of that in the south, and then just take a short flight or drive up all the way to the north, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. And the north has something completely different to offer. You will meet digital nomads there. It's got lots of rainforests, tribes, culture. And one thing that I highly recommend when you're in Thailand is explore the hostel culture over there, because it is so fun. All the hostels host really fun parties, community events, hikes, boat trips, kayaking trips, so many different activities that you wouldn't even have to do any research before going there. You can just land up and the hostels will help you figure everything out. So Thailand will definitely be my first destination to top this list. Now the next destination on the list is a place that I fell for so hard that I have spent collectively over 6 months living there across 3 years. And the reason why is I completely fell in love with the diverse landscapes and the people, because the local people of this country are just so friendly and funny, and that you feel so safe and free there as a woman that I absolutely love it. I'm talking about Indonesia. Now, everyone just thinks of Indonesia as a synonym for Bali, but let me tell you that Indonesia has more than 15,000 islands. Like, it's one of those places that you can keep exploring for years, and I think you'd never be able to do it. So, I highly recommend Indonesia for the diversity of landscapes that you can see and combining that with the affordability factor. In Indonesia, I have hiked volcanoes, seen some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, seen some of the tallest waterfalls that I've ever seen, and met some of the coolest people. So Indonesia should definitely be on your list. And now, as a first-time solo traveler, I would recommend 2 places to go to in Indonesia. One obviously being the quintessential Bali, Gili, Gili Air, Lombok, all the islands of this side. But the one place that you cannot miss, where you will also find amazing solo travelers and hostels, is the East Java side, where you can hike up to the Ijen crater, go to Mount Bromo, and your mind will be blown. Like, the landscapes are so beautiful, and the food is delicious and super affordable. And the third spot that I would recommend visiting if you have more time is Labuan Bajo. That's another island completely, where you can go on a boat trip with strangers and spend 2 nights going to different spots, different islands, seeing the most beautiful views, and just living a true island life completely cut off from the world. So add Indonesia to your list for sure. Now, next up on the list, we have Vietnam. Vietnam is one place that I would say is maybe a little more challenging than Thailand and Indonesia, because those countries are very easy to travel to solo. But Vietnam has its challenge with the language barrier. Very few people there speak English, so you will definitely have a small challenge speaking to people and speaking to the locals. But I strongly believe that that is how you'll completely immerse yourself in the culture, because Vietnam is one of those countries that are so culturally rich that you can go from the north to south and you will see completely different landscapes, yes, but also completely different cuisines, people, the way they dress, the way they live, the kind of houses they live in. I think that makes Vietnam really cool. And another thing that I absolutely love about Vietnam is their transportation. Like, the transportation within the entire country, the buses are so comfortable. Like, I remember sitting in a sleeper bus over there, and I was shocked that I had such a comfortable bus. You could charge your phone, you could watch TV, you could have internet, and I was like mind blown that this was almost like a luxury bus for me, but it came at a dirt cheap price, which is just $8, and that's amazing. Secondly, the hostels in Vietnam are beautiful. All of them are aesthetically designed. They have a lot of activities that they host, and you'll just meet some really cool people. When you're going to Vietnam, here are the few places that I'd recommend as a solo traveler. Number 1, definitely start your trip in Hanoi. Then go complete the Ha Giang Loop, which is really fun. You sit on a scooter and you drive through these insane roads and meet some cool people. You can just go to one of the hostels, join a group, and ride with them. And the best part is that you don't need to ride the scooter yourself. You can also sit behind someone who rides it, which is perfect. Then you have to check out Hoi An, of course, which is a UNESCO listed site, and it's so beautiful. But one of the places that was my favorite, and I think it's a bit offbeat, is called Ninh Bình, and I loved it. I stayed at this hostel called Banana Hostel there that I highly recommend. But the views in Ninh Bình, it's very quiet, but at the same time you have some really cool people, so make sure to check out Ninh Bình. And finally, I would add another place to the list, which is Phong Nha. This is like an entire cave system that you can hike through. The biggest cave in the world is also in that area, but you can do a few hikes within the caves, and you would have never seen anything like that. And I, as a solo traveler, had also just joined a group, and I met some really fun people there, and also saw something that I don't think I'd ever see anywhere in the world. So yeah, make sure to check out these places and enjoy how crazy cheap Vietnam can be for solo travelers. Now, all the places that I've mentioned so far in the video are extremely budget friendly. Like, the internal transport is cheap. The street food is extremely affordable, where you can get a plate from $2 to $5 easily. And the hostels are also very affordable. So I thought it's time to switch it up a bit and go a little further away from Southeast Asia. And the first place that I'd recommend in Europe, which is very good for solo travelers, are a combination of 2 countries, which is Spain and Portugal. Now, I would recommend traveling to both of these countries together and kind of combining your trip when you go here, because the culture is a bit similar, but the landscapes can be really different, and they're very easy to travel to. So I went to Spain and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my dream destinations, and it is very easy to travel solo to because of the number of hostels that are there in each and every city. So the best route that I would recommend when you go to Spain is starting in Barcelona. Amazing place. Go for salsa dances with strangers, eat great food, see the architecture, and then when you go from Barcelona, you can just go further down south. So you can select the places that you'd want to go to. I would say Barcelona, Valencia, Granada, Malaga, and then my favorite, Sevilla. It's so beautiful. So I would recommend covering that part of Spain, and then after that you can head over straight to Portugal. Now Portugal is a hub for digital nomads, solo travelers, surfers, and you can just do a lot of amazing activities over there. So while Spain can be focused more on culture, landscape, partying, Portugal can be more focused on doing more activities like hiking, surfing. And my two favorite places in Portugal, very generic but super fun, are Lisbon and Porto. Now, when it comes to Europe, there's one hostel chain that you can close your eyes and book, and it's called One Fam Hostels. This is not sponsored by them. It's my own opinion, because whenever I go to these places and I see that there's a One Fam hostel, I would just book it mostly because they have really fun activities. They host great parties, and as a first-time solo traveler, you'll meet a lot of other people who are having the same experience as you, so it'll be very easy to talk to them and meet them. So I highly recommend booking One Fam hostel whenever you find it in any European country. Now, if Spain and Portugal feel like too much to plan as a first-time solo traveler, because Spain is a huge country and there's so much to see, a more affordable and less overwhelming option would be Budapest and Hungary. I have an entire series on my YouTube channel on traveling solo in Budapest, so you can just go check it out. But it's one of my favorite places in Europe because it's just one city that's packed with so many experiences. Like, I love it. You can go to ruined pubs that are very special to Budapest. You can go to a thermal bath and go for a party that happens there. Visit amazing architecture. Try some of the best beers and cocktails and food. So yeah, Budapest just has so much to offer to a first-time solo traveler. And even over there, I'd stayed in the One Fam hostel chain, and it was really so much fun because of how easy it is to get around the city. I also took some day trips outside of the city, which was just so easy by taking a train and getting out there. So highly recommend Budapest also on your list if you're traveling solo for the first time and just want to go to one country and experience it and see whether you even like traveling solo or not. And now the final recommendation for an international solo trip is a place that I only went to last year and absolutely loved it because I love the mountains. Like, I am a through and through mountain person. Just let me go for a hike and I'm happy. And one of the places that I felt was super offbeat, affordable, and also had the right kind of hostels for hikers was Montenegro and Albania. These are two countries that you can easily combine and explore because it's super offbeat. These are countries in Eastern Europe, so they won't be as expensive as going to Switzerland or Italy. It'll be like half the price, but the beauty is still mind-blowing. Like, you've got some amazing mountain trails in Albania and Montenegro, but you still have that charm of the European old towns, and you can go to the beaches as well. I think these two countries are really cool because they have so many experiences packed at a lower cost. The only thing that I would warn you is that these countries are very meat heavy, so vegetarians might struggle a little bit, because I totally did. But at the same time, I feel like when you're staying at a hostel, most hostels allow you to cook your own food, so just do that. And the one place that I recommend, highly recommend in Montenegro is staying in Hiker's Den in Zabljac, Montenegro. Like, this is a hiking hostel that will basically plan everything for you. Like, I remember going to this hostel and I didn't even have hiking boots. So they give you hiking boots, they'll give you waterproof jackets, sweaters, whatever you may need as a hiker, they have it for you. As soon as you reach there, you're going to meet this guy called Alex, who's going to plan your entire trip for you on day one. He'll be like, okay, on day one you do this hike, on day two you go this hike. Tomorrow there are some people going biking and going to view this viewpoint, so you can just join them. You don't even need to plan anything. You just land up at Hiker's Den and they're going to plan everything for you, which I absolutely loved. And they also will recommend hostels to you that you can visit in Albania right after your trip to Montenegro. So if you want to come back home and have really cool stories to tell and visit a place that I would say not so many people go to, then definitely put Montenegro and Albania on your list. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering that no, we don't want to leave the country, go for the first solo trip so far away, and I totally feel you. I totally get it. When I started traveling solo as well, I wanted to pick a place that was kind of close to home home so that it felt uncomfortable and unfamiliar, but at the same time, I didn't feel too scared because I still was accustomed to a few things about the culture, the language, the SIM card. All of those details was still the same for me because I was traveling within India. So for anyone who's planning their first ever solo trip, and they don't want to go too far away or spend too much money, then just consider traveling within India, because India has some really cool destinations that you can travel solo to as well that are going to be super safe. Although I would highly recommend that when you're traveling within India, you do need to have certain cautionary steps that you need to make sure that you take, and which is why I will be attaching a solo travel guide in the description below. It's completely free. It comes at no cost. You can just check it out. It has a list of do's and don'ts, things that you need to pack, all of that for your first ever solo trip. So just go check that out before you plan your trip. And the first destination that we're going to talk about in India is where I travel solo to for the first time as well, where I think I've met the kindest people in India, where it's very affordable, easy to figure out. You don't need to plan a lot before going there. You can just book a hostel, land up, and then everything will kind of get figured out for you. And that place has to be Himachal Pradesh. Now, why I love Himachal Pradesh is because it offers a lot of diversity. You have little villages that you can go to and consider. And in fact, you can keep deciding to travel solo to Himachal again and again and exploring completely different destinations every time. So my top destinations in Himachal Pradesh would be to start with Bir Biling. Amazing town, so many cafes, adventure sports, cycling, and amazing hostels as well. And I highly recommend Zostel when going to Bir. Oh, and if you're into trekking, you can also do the Rajgunda trek, which is very close to Bir Biling, and it's beautiful. The next place I'd recommend is Jibi or Tirthan Valley, and the hostel that I'd recommend there is Blue Sheep Hostel. Just go there and the hosts are amazing. They'll feed you amazing food, take you on cool hikes, waterfalls and all of that. And the other two places in Himachal would be Dharamkot and Spiti. Both of them are completely different landscapes. While Dharamkot is very focused on spirituality, a lot of hiking, workshops, yoga, Spiti is just mind-blowing when it comes to the landscapes. And there are so many group trips that keep going to Spiti in the winter, in the summer, that you can just easily join, or just go onto Zostel's page and book a hostel in Spiti. You will love it. The next place I'd consider in India is Ladakh. Now I know I'm going first with north of India and then I'm going to come to the south because I studied in Delhi, and for me it was very easy to go to places in the north because it was cheaper and closer to get there. So Ladakh is, as all of us know, one of the most magical places in India. My first solo trip was to Udaipur. I still don't think Rajasthan is the most solo travel friendly place because of the cat calling, and I didn't feel very safe there. So I recommend going to Ladakh instead. And the two hostels that I would recommend to stay at in Leh would be Hostella or Zostel. They always have activities planned, and Ladakh is actually very expensive, I feel, as a destination to travel solo to, because all the places that you want to go to, be it Pangong Tso, Moonland, Lama Yuru, wherever you may want to go, they're all very far away. So I actually feel that Ladakh is very expensive as a place, especially if you're a solo traveler. So staying at one of these hostels will reduce your cost significantly, because when you're traveling from Leh, which would be your base, to any of the places, you have to take a car, and it takes 6 to 7 hours to reach any place. Lama Yuru, Pangong Tso, Somoriri, wherever you might go. So staying at a hostel and sharing the costs with other travelers is probably the best way forward. But I have to say that I felt extremely safe while living in Ladakh. I stayed there for 2 months, and I've seen so much of that place that I can confidently say that the landscapes that you see in Ladakh, you'll probably never see anywhere else in the world. Now I think we've spoken enough of the north. It's time to give South India some credit, because South India also has some really amazing places that can be extremely safe for a solo traveler and female solo travelers as well. So the first place that I'd recommend is Mulki. Now, going to Mulki just for a surfing experience, I have met so many female solo travelers who've been there. So you just stay at a surf school, learn how to surf, go kayaking, meet other people as well. I would say Mulki is one of those trips that you can also do if you work full time and maybe want to go on a remote workation of sorts, where you can surf in the morning, then work during the day, and then maybe surf again in the evening. They also make it very affordable for solo travelers because all the surf schools offer dorm rooms as well, so you can split up so your costs can reduce significantly, where you also learn a skill, but you end up saving a lot of money on your accommodation as well. So Mulki would be my first recommendation. The next place that I'd recommend would be Kerala, but in Kerala specifically Varkala and Vagamon. Now I do feel that Kerala felt super safe enough to me, but I would still advise being a little cautious on where you go within Kerala and only going to the places that have a good hostel infrastructure if you're completely solo, which is why I recommend Varkala and Vagaman. So in Varkala, you have many hostels that you can stay at. It's one of the most beautiful beach towns of India. You can also surf there. It has amazing cafes, shopping, interesting people that you could meet. 100% Varkala is up there. And the second place, as I said, is Vagaman. Now, Vagaman has a completely different landscape, which is why I loved it so much. You're surrounded by tea gardens, waterfalls, jungles, and the hostel in Vagaman is beautiful. Definitely 10 on 10 recommend that. They'll take you for some really unique experiences where you can go off-roading in a car, as I said, swim in waterfalls. And I truly fell in love with Vagaman because it's so peaceful, yet has so much to offer. And now the final place on my list is a very obvious one. You've probably heard about it or been there with your friends, and maybe you've never considered it to travel solo to, but trust me, it's probably one of the easiest states in India where you can just pick up your bags and go on a solo trip. And that is Goa. That was actually the first place that I went to live completely on my own. I spent around 6 months in Goa and I started there from absolute scratch. I stayed at a hostel, then found an apartment and then started living there because of how easy it is. People are super friendly. There are lots of other digital nomads that you'd meet there. Landscape is obviously amazing. You have your beaches, parties, cafes, clubs in the north, but then the south offers tranquility. Just quiet beaches, palm trees, great food, local culture. And I went to Goa during the monsoons where I actually met more like-minded people. So not so many party tourists, but people who were actually interested in exploring the nature and seeing the waterfalls and the forests of Goa that during monsoons really come alive. And the tour companies that I would highly recommend booking experiences with when you're in Goa are the Local Beat, amazing, and Soul Traveling. These two companies have some super unique experiences that you can try out. There are so many hostels that you can check out when you're in Goa. One of my favorite ones is called Home. The full form is Hostel of Memories. So make sure to check that out and go to Goa solo. And to make this video more actionable, I want you to leave a comment down below promising me one place that you plan on going solo to from this list, because only when you commit to it will you actually start thinking about it. So put it down in the comments below. I'm super excited to see. And with that, my recommendations for all the destinations that you can travel solo to as a first-time traveler ends here. Please remember that you can start with any destination that feels comfortable. Don't take the pressure of what you see on social media. Just go to a place which feels familiar yet unfamiliar, as I told you. All the places that I've mentioned before this are very good on safety, affordability, and connectivity, so you won't feel very isolated from the rest of the world. It's not like you won't be able to text your friends and family back home because all of these places are very well connected. And remember that solo travel is not about being alone, so don't feel scared that you will feel extremely lonely and sad when you go on a solo trip. No. If you plan your trip to one of these destinations and stay at a hostel, you'll automatically have people coming up to you and talking to you and sharing their experiences that you will guarantee make friendships that will last a lifetime. And my final tip would be to just travel at your own pace. That's the best part about traveling solo, because it's a little bit selfish, because it's a one trip that you will take where you can just completely focus on yourself. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you like beaches? Do you like the mountains? Do you like culture? What kind of food do you want to eat? All of that is going to be your decision. So make the most of it. So finally, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, because that motivates me to make more videos for you, reach more people, and help more people travel the world. And also let me know if there's any other video that you'd like to see on this channel, because I'm always looking and open for suggestions. So yeah, that is the end of the video. Sending you a lot of love and sunshine, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.